right, let's talk about using the pen tool to create these color block portraits. And one of the things I want to mention to you is it's very important that you have backgrounds to things. So what I mean by that is that you have things behind other things. For instance, behind this dress, I have a little body, right? And then I've got my dress here, and then my bow is going to be in front of the dress. You really have to think about your layers. So for instance, I did this torso and I did this face, but you can see there's some daylight, and it's kind of hard to tell. Let me like put a different color in between all this so you can see. So you see there's some little green daylight here between these sections. So a couple of ways to go about that. One of those is you can just make changes to your selection. So these are ones that were not created with the pen tool. I just created this one with a selection. But it doesn't matter. However you do it, you can still edit it with that white direct selection tool. So I can click back on the path to activate it, and that's then going to give me the opportunity to move these around. And if it's suitable, if it's something that would be useful, I could certainly grab a hold of these handles, and if it has two sides, I can adjust them, you know, by pulling here. So all I'm doing is trying to get this behind this other part. And then if you have to, you pull up. Okay, and this is behind all of this, so it's not really going to hurt anything. However, I also need to have a neck area, and your neck area really ought to be shaded. And here, this one is just sort of all out of whack. So you can tell this one, when it was created, it just didn't get created well. So, you know, you just have to kind of adjust your points as needed so they kind of fall where they need to go. But just know that it does not have to be perfect the very first time. Now, you do want to have some shading. But just remember, you can always move things around. So I do want to have the neck area to be a little bit of a different color than the rest. So for that reason, let's see here, I need to fix this because we've got some daylight here between the skin and the dress. And the dress is in front. So see, I can put the skin right over that and it doesn't matter because the dress is in front. Okay, there we go. So here is where I need to add in another layer that's going to have that neck. And that neck, we need to show shading. So everything can't be just the same color. So notice that this arm is a little bit of a different color than the rest of the skin, just so it shows. And you can very simply double click. And then like if I started with the color of like the face, right? Oh, hold on, I'm on the wrong layer here. Okay. So let me go to my arm. Arm. Okay, front arm right here. Okay. All right, so if I'm on my arm layer, which is this color, if I go here, see now it's all the same color. But if you just pull down a little bit, see how I just pulled down a little, you can get that different color. And that's really the best way to go about it because then it's in the exact same color palette. It's just a tiny bit darker, okay? All right, so now I need to build this neck. Now, one fun trick is to click the Alt key and click on the eyeball and watch what happens. It turns every layer off with the exception of the one you're on. And if you hit Alt and click it again, it turns them all back on. So a great tip for you there. Now it's kind of odd because I think in this picture, her shoulders are all kind of like she's got a weird posture about her, which makes the neck kind of look funny, which means I'm really going to have to build this chin up better for you to be able to see the difference. Now I'm going to go ahead and use a pen tool for this one, just because I don't have to be precise anyway. I'm just filling in the blanks. So knowing that this shoulder comes over here behind her hair and that I didn't have enough for the rest, but I'll make these a different color. I'm just going to start with what would be behind her hair. Okay. And again, the face is in front of this. So all I need to worry about is the part the face doesn't cover, which would be here where the shoulder is. With the pen tool, click once, make sure you set to shape. The fill color doesn't matter. I'll change it. And then we're going to have like kind of the hill, if you will, the other side of the rainbow. So I'm going to click and hold. Okay, there we go. And then whatever direction this handle, when you pull and hold, is going is the direction it's going to go if you click again. So if I want it to go up, here's what you have to do. If you just want to make a straight, just click it once. It'll have a little line next to it. And then now I can just go straight up. Okay, and then of course you can click it again if you need to switch that again. And you could do it on one that you've already gotten, but you're going to lose your points if you do that. So that's what the little minus will do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that one because that's not going to be very helpful for us. Again, I'm just going to delete this shape. Okay, So I'm going to start here behind the hair, come over, click and drag. It's going to go this way, which is fine. That's where I want to go. Now, if you click and drag, that's when you're going to have handles. I didn't click and drag this time, so I have no handles to deal with. So I can go straight up. This is going to be behind her head, so it doesn't matter. Okay, back down again. This is all going to be behind an arm, so it doesn't matter. I'm just making sure I'm filling in these holes. Okay, so we'll just kind of finish it off. And you're just like, wait, but that doesn't match. Yeah, it doesn't really matter because when I hit Alt and click here, oops, oh, sorry. You got to have one on to be able to Alt click and turn them all back on. Oh my, it's not letting me now. Okay, well, not this time, huh? All right, let's just turn them all back on. And then I'll make it work again here in a minute. Okay. Now this little black piece that's hanging out wherever it is, and I'm going to have to find it because I didn't name it, right here, I'm going to move this up behind the face. All right, so like this is that part that's going to show. And see, now I can kind of tell. I don't know if that's going to look great or not, but we'll see. All right, so I'm going to double click it. Again, I kind of want maybe close to the same color as this arm, but not exactly the same color as the arm. So I'm going to pull it even darker. Okay. There we go. And then at this point, you're going to have to start looking at, like, I have this little area here that looks kind of funny. So I'm going to take back that white arrow tool and then move that so it's not in front of this piece. Pull this over. There we go. That's a little better. All right. And that's okay that that green is showing there. Honestly, I'm going to pull that down more so there's a little bit more of what looks like a neck back in that area. Okay. Now here's where you're going to want to go to your face and really make sure that you have what looks like a chin, even if it didn't match exactly on the original. So I just want to make sure I can tell that there is a chin there. So you may need to kind of, you know, give it some cheeks and give it a chin, you know, whatever. Okay. All right. I think that one's going to be okay. There we go. And we're making some good progress here. I can still see a little green. So again, anytime you're seeing that, you got to figure out where can you make changes. So it looks like I can make this body one a little better. So I'm going to take that white arrow, click on here, and just pull this up. Okay. Now you can still use your pen. So if you click on the pen and you got your plus, minus, and the convert point, you can still use those. So if I decided I needed another point or I needed to get rid of a point, I'm on minus right here. I could click this and it would minus that. Ooh, that's bad. Let's undo. Okay, or I can click on the line and see how I get a plus. If you're on your pen tool, if you click on a line, you add a point. See, I did. And if you click on a point, you can minus a point. And that's just being on the pen tool. Okay, now if you want to move a point, get off the pen tool and go to the white arrow tool. Now, why is using the pen better for drawing things? Okay, so I want to show you this dress. Oh, we got her clothes hanging out of here. So let's fix that. Okay. See, this is one where I may need to add an extra point if I can't get this to bend in. All right, there we go. So I created this red dress using the pen tool, okay? It's very smooth. And I really do need to move the edges of this inside. There. Okay, it's very smooth. Had I not done that, okay, so let's go back to just this one. If I would have used, say, a magnetic lasso, okay, let's say this is going to be my dress. I'm just going to do this really fast, so it's not going to be really that good, and that's okay. I just want you to see the difference here. I also wouldn't have used the bow. The bow's on its own layer, you know, so it doesn't really matter here. But let's pretend that this is what we need. It's not, but pretend it is, okay? So if I go this way, use paths, turn it to a work path, come in, and make a color fill layer. Again, I can still move all this around, right, so it doesn't matter. But I just want you to see, when I turn this off, how jaggedy this selection is, okay? And maybe it's okay. And obviously this bottom part's not okay. I would have to do some work there. But I would have done that before I would have turned it into a path. Just notice there's a lot of extra pieces. So I can still edit it with that white arrow tool. But like there may, oops, don't click and drag till you select a point. But there may be points I need to get rid of. I may have to go to my pen and minus off some of these points and then come back in with my white arrow tool and try to fix some of these, okay? Because you're going to end up with some of those other selection tools with like, see, there's just a random, like, why is that even in there? I don't even know. You're going to end up with like random things that you don't need. See, there's just so many extra points, all right? So I don't really recommend except for certain things. I mean, there's some things that you could get away with it on. But here's how to use the pen tool. Let's just watch. I'm going to do the bow. Now remember, there's going to be an arm in front of this bow, so you wouldn't notice the problem, okay? So I'm going to take my pen tool, set it to shape. I'm going to go ahead and just set the fill to a dark color, but I'm going to tell you, I'll show you as I go. All right, so I'm going to start. Click, click. Okay, now this is going to go all the way over here, so I'm just going to click and hold, drag a handle. Okay, now it's going to start covering up, so pull your opacity back so you can see through it. Okay, all right, now I got to decide where to go. Well, it's going to go this way because that's the way the handle's going. So I can keep clicking, click, 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 click. Okay, this has a little bit of a curve, so I'm going to click and drag a little bit. Now, see, this is going to go this way, which means if I come over here, it's going to loop. I don't want it to loop, okay? So if you want it to go this way, here's what you do. Point to the little thing, the little handle, not to the anchor point, to the handle. Hold the Alt key, and your mouse will change to a little V, and then change the direction of the angle. So now my thing is pointed this way. And if that's the way it's pointed, that's the way it's going to go. So now I can click here and just finish it off. And see how easy that was? And that's all I had to do for that one. Okay, then turn your opacity back up. Now I've got my little band there. Okay, so let me show you one more time. If you're doing just a small area, let's do the mouth here. Zoom up as close as you can. It's a lot easier if you're zoomed. Okay, and so I can click. Okay, go to the other side of your rainbow. Click and drag. Okay, now I need to go up. So Alt, grab a hold of this handle, make it go the direction that I need to go. Okay, then let go of Alt. All right, now I make my rainbow. Okay, and this is almost going the right direction, but not quite. So I'm going to Alt, scoot it up so it's going that way. Okay, and click and see it now. It kind of goes straight the way I need it to go. All right, and then if we're going back this way, again, turn your opacity down if you can't see, because sometimes you can't quite see. So if I'm coming back this way, this is a little more straight. I just kind of come across and then come here and seal it off, and that's probably pretty good. Okay, and then I basically repeat the process. Don't touch this path though, or you'll like mess up the path that you already have. Okay, so I'm going to start somewhere else. It'll have an asterisk next to it. All right, so click, click. Now I'm going across my rainbow. Click and hold, pull, 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 pull. Okay, is my handle going the right direction? Yeah, kind of. I think it's not too bad. Okay, so there we go. Now this is definitely not going the right direction because that's going that way. Pull the opacity down. So hold down Alt. Okay, make this go the direction I need it to go. There we go. Here. Okay, start going this way. Click and drag. Okay, this is going the way wrong direction. I need it to go that way. Alt, pull this here. Okay, so now I can go this way. Go the other side of the rainbow a little bit. Okay, there we go. I need this to be going up, so I'm going to hold down Alt. Point to this. It's going the right direction. And then come up and seal it off. Okay, then turn your opacity back. And of course, I need to change the colors of these, but that just gives you a general idea of how to do that. And then once you get one of them, you know, take the other one, turn the opacity up, and just go get that exact same color from the last one, and then you've got them in there. And then, because I'll need to kind of connect them at this point, not a big deal, because I just need to take the white arrow tool, click on it, and then I can move these paths up. They're the same color, so it'll look like it's one path. I can move anything that I need to move. Same thing with this one. Click on this other one. Click on the path. Move that over so that they connect a little bit better. And again, if I needed to add some pin paths, add some pinpoints, I could. Okay. All right, and that's basically the gist of it. It looks really funny when you don't have it all turned on. And you just keep adding things in and adding things in and adding things in until you get all your layers. You just want to make sure there's definitely no daylight. Now, I'm not going to keep green behind here. I would make a sky kind of thing, put a gradient behind. I'm not really sure I love these colors. They're almost a little gray. I might use something that's a little bit more pink. And then I've still got another arm back here that needs to go. But notice, I just did solid colors. I didn't want to do stripes because stripes are complicated. I need to fix this strap because the strap isn't going up all of the way on the dress. You know, I've got some areas that need to be a different color. But this is a good starting point. And again, I strongly recommend trying to use that pen tool. It'll look better in the long run. Okay, good luck with your projects.